something absolutely crazy happened in a coaching call last week that I got to talk to you about. All right. So I had these students, they've been working with me for a little while, and they were absolutely crushing the questions. I mean, I was doing the hardest ones I have at them, and they were just bang, 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 knocking them out. And the cool thing is they're working together. They're helping each other out. They're giving perspectives. They're giving support. They're building each other up. That's what we want to see, right? And so they get them right, and they get them right, and they get them right. And after a while, I'm like, dudettes, we're getting them all right. We gotta flip it up. We gotta take it up to 11. So came up with an idea. I said, instead of blurring out the answers, which we do, right? I'm gonna blur the question out, and I'm just gonna show you the answer. And I said, this is called upside down coaching. I just made it up right now. This is how we're gonna roll it. I want y'all to look at the answers, evaluate them, and you don't know what's in the question, so we're cool. And I want you to tell me which one you think is the right answer. And so what happened was, which I was pretty pleased with, is they were normally leaned in, but they started to really lean in. They were like, all right, we like this. Let's like this challenge. And so as they went through it, something became super duper clear. Number one is the way in which they worked together. They got tighter. They started saying, this is a challenge. How do we think about this? How do we build each other? And secondly, and this is super duper triple important, is that they started to see themes more clearly. And that's what I want for you. And I'm going to tell you how to get there. The answer choices that they were saying, what's the type of action that's being put here? What is the perspective that the answer is taking? What would be the ups and downs of this type of action in a servant leader kind of environment? So they were evaluating the answers on the kind of, I don't like the right word, is morals of the perspective of the long-term impact. And what became very clear is that these themes started to push out, okay? That, this is one where it feels like we're escalating potentially way too early. Or we're coming in, and these are their names, as like the lone wolf. We're going to grab a hold of this thing and we're going to solve it. Or they're saying, we're just throwing people or resources at it. Like, we're going to put a QA guy at the end of the line. We're going to add an extra step here. You're not solving the root, right? All of these thematic patterns came out, and they were starting to pick them up. Initially, they were identifying them. And secondly, they were going, you see that one? Tom, Sarah, that's a lone wolf kind of decision. And they were starting to see that. And here's the cool thing. They were starting to get the questions right. Like all of them right. Like crazy. I was like, y'all are killing it. I love this. We didn't get them all right, but we got a ton of them right. And then when we would unblur the question, it became very clear based on the direction where we were going. And it wasn't just that the themes were bad themes. They saw the right themes. This brings people together. This facilitates. This has the right one-on-one conversations. This has the right group conversations, because there's a difference there, right? This empowers the capability of the team. All those things from a leadership perspective. Like when you're a leader, right? And you have people that work for you, they're always going to come to you with problems, right? This is what happened. This is what I did. And after a while, the problems kind of like start to rhyme and stuff. But what you really look at is the way in which they responded, right? Because they could say, no, but in this situation, it's different. But as a leader, you start saying, all right, we're going to have problems continuously. Let's think about the patterns of the way in which we react or act or preemptively act, right? That's what we're getting at. So the learning for our students, and this is what you can take, is that we think about the perspective of the answer. That's what it is. You're too wrapped up usually in, the stress of the question, the stress of the time, the stress of the answer. Slow it down, look at the perspective. And as I was leading these people through this, I started to think of an example, okay? I used to play poker online just for fun, right? And I found out that there was this one lady, I think she was from like Norway or something. She was a phenomenal player. And what she did was after a while, she was winning tournaments and she got kind of adept at reading people, right? Reading the situation, seeing the cards that are laid out in front of everybody, not even looking at her own and just seeing how they acted in certain scenarios. And then she could make her moves that way. And so as a exercise, she stopped looking at her own cards, right? She just put a little sticky on her little computer screen. It was online poker. And she just said, I'm just going to play the room. I'm going to play the scenario. I'm going to play the people. I'm going to play the intention of them. And she started winning, against good players, because it's not necessarily you're constrained by the situation or the two hole cards you have. You're constrained by the actions that you take. And so the same thing, the thematic approach is very clear in PMP questions. So don't look at the answers and just squeeze down on them or the question. You have to understand how they work in an environment. what are the right types of actions to take? Now, what do you do with this upside down learning? This is an advanced technique, okay? I would not have thrown this at the people who just started. I want them to understand how to read the question. I want to have them slow down. I want them to think what they would do. That's what I'm trying to build in their DNA and their perspective initially. Once you nail that down, then we can layer on more advanced techniques to bolster you. So if you out there are in the point where you read questions fast and you don't feel like you understand what it said, if you say maybe a lot, well, this might be an answer, I'll hold on to it, or this could be an answer, this one, or this should have happened, or whatever. Those are little buzzers in your brain to tell you, I've got to go back to fundamentals. That's the game, okay? How you read questions, how you identify what it matters, and how you think about the appropriate action, in a sense, on a high wire. You have no answers to guide you, okay? That's what I want you to do first. That's how we build absolute killers on the exam, and killers when they go back and lead people. Because all this PMP does, if you want to break it down, is to allow you to think through different scenarios. Agile, waterfall, hybrid, all the bumps in the road. You get to see them and play it out in your mind. How would I go about it? It's like playing 1,000 different games over and over. So that's it. That's just a beautiful thing that you can do, right? Now, once you nail down the ability to manage yourself and the questions and distill down and build your understanding of the fundamentals, then I'm working this into my process. I'm going to do the upside down approach to say, hey, let's look at the answers and let's see the perspective and the themes that we have there. We're coming out with a quick reference guide and we're building it into our course and all this stuff. And these themes are in there. So we teach our students that, right? And so they can see these themes. But we don't want to memorize the themes like, don't forget these, without understanding why. Because these themes are indicators. They're normal paths that one who's a great project manager, which I know that's why you're here, that's what you want to do. And so it is a process, like anything else. Some of you might have a couple days. I got a call this morning, I got to pass the test on Sunday. Doesn't matter. Fundamentals, how we solve questions, understand the themes, think about what you do. We're going to do okay. We're going to do well. And we're going to start to be a craftsman and woman about how we lead projects. It's an art, but it's an art built on skill and discipline. That's what project management is. So you can do this. So understand where you are. And if you need help understanding where you are, I'm 2 seconds away. 757-759-5282, Scott@allinprep.com. The most accessible man in PMP and the poorest marketer out there. I'm not out there slinging or whatever. We'll deal with that later. But we're here to help you, okay? So reach out to me. I'll help assess where you are, put you in a coaching call, let you watch some videos so you can accurately assess where you are. Stop spinning, start being methodical. That's what you need to do. Fundamentals, how you solve questions, how you react to certain scenarios, discipline, and detail. Don't bore yourself to death with boring books. Don't bore yourself to death with terrible boot camps. It's a waste of your time. Be methodical. Once we do that, we'll elevate you into how to see themes, how to see perspectives. And the cool thing, if you do it right, it'll start to hurt a little bit in a good way. It'll start to go expose you to say, oosh, I would take this throw dudes at it approach. I would take this lone wolf approach. I would take this escalate quickly approach. And you say, should I be doing that? Is that the right way to do? That, in addition to the PMP behind your name, excellent. That is the real gift. That is the real winner. That is why you're here. Now, that's what's missing from all boot camps. I don't know. I can't imbibe them with a soul. I don't have that power, but I can help you out. So reach out to me. The interaction with students is what fuels our innovation, why we build things and why we create new ways of studying and doing those things. So love for you to check out what we're doing. I'd love to have the challenge of helping you. And then reach out to me and we will find a way. That's the way it rolls. So hope you enjoyed the story. I'm excited. I work with them again on Thursday. I'm pumped to take it to another level. All right. And we're going to also have a little breakouts. I'm going to give it to the other students as well and say, hey, look at what this group and I came up with. Now you're going to do it. And we just propagate it out. So steal all my ideas. I recommend it, right? Because I'll invent more. I ain't stopping. Good luck. And as we go, we'll get this together. It has been fun. I love these. Normally I do podcasts that are just audio. This one I decided, you know what? balding, whatever, no script. Let's roll. We're going here from now on. Video, audio, smell-o-vision, whatever we need to do. Let's get it rolling. See you later, alligator. Reach out to me, Scott at All In Prep, 757-759-5282. I'm sorry I didn't reach you earlier, but we're here now. Let's get you out of the hole that you're in. Let's get you where you need to be. Let's make you a project manager that's better at their job, and you have those PMP behind your name, and you're proud of yourself. That is why we exist. Let's do this together. Adios.